Welcome back to the community coverage of the first cup of the Black Ops 6 season for the North America Challenger side. An American and a Brit walk into a bar. My name is Corin. With me is Infinity. It is a pleasure to have him back with us on the stream. Brody, how does it feel to be back for another season of Call of Duty?
I'll tell you what, mate. If I did walk into a bar with you, it would just be tap water for me. I'm not sure I could survive a night of that kind of drinkage with you. That being said, I'm feeling pretty good, mate. I'm ready to get underway with North America. We're still early doors in this region. I've been doing basically EU with Major and Pabs and Seymour all day. Believe it or not, Colin's doing EU now. And it's been a fun time. I never tire of early season challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll take a look at our head-to-head for the new matchup that we got on stream here. Winners, semifinals. So, a chance to get to the winners finals, secure yourselves a top 3 placement. On the Pioneer side, we saw him earlier. Arcedy's Rex, Johnny, Standy. Standy was looking good. Dylan Rex also looked incredible with the SMG in his hands. But Arcedy's and Johnny were bringing up the rear in the AR capacities. Stallions, opposite side. Phantoms, Abe, Encourage, Lurks. Lots of young guns on the Stallions roster, led by Timmy Phantoms. This one, Brody, is, at least for me, quite the matchup. I love seeing a lot of the younger players in the challenger side of things, but fresh 18ers, it's awesome to see these guys competing really in their first full seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant way to put it, by the way. Fresh 18ers, absolutely love it, mate. I mean, it does definitely feel like the old guard versus the new in a way, right? I mean, you've got Phantoms,
Sure.
obviously, who is definitely an exception to that rule for Stallions, but that's like the perfect mixture of having kind of a veteran in with a bunch of new players looking to usurp the old guard, as it were, right? I mean,
Yep.
you look at the competition, you guys just saw it for Pioneers, what they've got on that roster. They definitely know what they're doing. So the question for me is, can we see them taken down by the young guns, the new guards?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think of the most recent success story going to the CDL. We think of 04 last season. 04, young guy going up. I mean, really just popping off immediately as soon as he got into the scene. Everybody kind of turned their eyes immediately towards him and we're like, wow, okay, let's let him go, have his run. Great success. And again, Amber and I were talking about this earlier on in the year. That's when you're starting to look towards, okay, this is the first opportunity to see these new players in a new year, in a new light, and especially teams in the CDL level start to struggle a bit. You look to the challenger side, who can we bring up, who can we bring in? These cups, especially for a lot of guys that are trying to prove themselves at an early age, I mean, this could be potentially make or break, or even starts to a breakout part of their careers.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Making a good impression early on in the season here is very important because it won't be long before CDL teams need to make changes, right? I mean, for CDL rosters, your entire season can be derailed pretty much immediately out of the gates if you do not have a good major 1, you don't have a good major 2, and very often those teams will be like, okay, well, now we need to dip our feet in the challenges. And so making a good impression early on in the season is important for a lot of these players. It's something we've seen countless times before. I think like Diamond Con is a good one. I think during the 2022 season, yeah. Right, he was a guy who made a good impression on the LAG Academy to begin the season, and then almost immediately got picked up to the mainline roster. There's just so many examples of players early on that if they make a good impression, they could well end up in the CDL, and that's especially true for the North American region. So for these guys here on Stallions, it's a good opportunity to be like, hey, we have a lot to prove. There's no baggage game whatsoever. They come out the gate swinging here in the first couple of Challengers Cups, and hey, these guys are we're looking on.
Yeah, absolutely. Take a look at a bracket real quick just to see where we've gone so far. Again, we're only in the winners semifinals at this point, so not too much to speak on, but in the upper bracket, of course, Stallions and the Pioneers are next matchup in the semifinals. Winner will take on the winner of Omit Brooklyn and CTE on the top end side. Down in the lower bracket, not much to speak of just yet as teams are still going through the first rounds of that lower bracket, but Scriminals and the Syndicate going up against one another, and then DTG as well as Illy & Co down there as well. So that's our bracket at the moment. Just jumping over real quick into game, we didn't get to look at our map series, but Vault to start things off. We'll go there for the first hardpoint and the search and destroy. We'll go to a protocol for map 3 and the control if we need to get out there soon enough. But Phantoms opens up the door with Johnny. First shots go through. 2-1 trade to the Pioneers. It's a 2-2 split off the rip, and the Stallions looking to open things up as Encourage pops one in the map.
Yeah, this is early control here for Pioneers in the game, but Stallions are the ones in control of the kill. I was going to say momentarily there before Lurks almost immediately gets taken down, and that is quite a wave of blue in the feed. Pity that's not the case for the rest of America, as KC Pioneers at the moment here looking to garner some early control over this time. And I've just realized we don't have no hardpoint time. This is something that you were experiencing earlier, Alex. And my brain's like, how much time is left on this hardpoint?
Yeah, it's difficult. You know, it's kind of like screwballing. Like, all right, maybe like 20 seconds left here. We'll start thinking about a rotation. But as soon as that little keypad that pops up, at least we got the 10-second indicator. So we know that the rotation over towards P2 is on. And right now, the Pioneers in firm control of it. Encourage long-range shots from Johnny are going to be good. That sets up the Pioneers with the spawns as well as the initial hill time. They're going to continue to grow on that lead that they have for him at the moment. 8 pushing up, though, is able to find one out of the pool jump. Dylan from behind inside a short will be able to put himself to 4 now, make it 5 in a row. Escapes with his life, but in the back door, Encourage shots go the wayside. Unfortunately, gets caught in the crossfire, and RCD's now looking to push up the map to try and complete the pinch on the Stallions.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got these back spawns if you're Stallions. That's not necessarily the best thing in the world if you don't actually manage to take the kills around the front of the hardpoint, and that hasn't happened. Sitting pretty inside the hardpoint is Johnny, who is absolutely safe as houses. No stress whatsoever. Johnny now finds himself on 4 in a row. And Stallions can keep on spawning back here all they like. They are not getting time out of this hill.
No, they finally get in. It's a 4-man in the feed, but for the Stallions, I mean, you break in with, what, 25, 30 seconds left, a rough estimate in terms of what we have hill time-wise here, but we start to look towards that north side of the map. It's a full pinch for the Pioneers at the moment. Phantoms needs to be careful because he's in a crossfire between 2 players and unfortunately gets cut down. That's going to get the left side, the power positions to the Pioneers, and as Abe looks to try and find his way on the map, headshot onto RCDs is good for a kill at the moment, and that actually completely shifts the entire map as Encourage and Phantoms were able to pop a double on the opposite end.
Yeah, now if you're Stallions, you're in good position moving forward for this game. I mean, you are only for a moment, it would seem, as Arsties and Stannies almost immediately find some kills here for KC Pioneers that give them a good look at this hill. And now if you're Stallions, the situation is a little bit different. You do not want to hit this too aggressively, but you can't really afford to give that time away. Omni Movement come out to play early on here in Black Ops 6, it would seem, as now Stallions trying to contest all of this. Feels like a bit of a foregone conclusion, though, as KC Pioneers now get a full wipe across the board. Split spawns now starting to come through. Stallions feeling the heat.
And Standing needs to be careful, though, because one spawn's directly behind him, and Phantoms is able to walk away with the kill. So that still gives the Stallions a bit of opportunity to rotate early towards P4. They can still have a few bodies there, and the spawns are going to be in. They need to be careful, though, because Dylan is also here. He's kind of just snuck in through the back line, untouched and unscathed. Stallions have no information on this player. He'll sit vacant for a moment. With 60 seconds separating these 2 teams, it's all about the P4 rotation, and Dylan, after he slides all the way through, is going to be able to clean up one that should give the favorable spawns to the Pioneers, and they're going to have map presence over on this side of the map as the splits come in.
Really kind of for Stallions, to be honest with you, but I mean, in the same breath, you can't really afford to not try and hit this one as aggressively as you can, and it's leading to a lot of individual out right now for Stallions. The best, though, Encourage and Phantom double up between player and side, also removed, all now just Arsties in the defense of this hard point, and he is finally taken down. So some kind of light at the end of the tunnel here for Stallions. You're starting to heat up just a little bit, but I mean, coming out the gate swinging have been KC Pioneers. They've been looking so hot.
Absolutely. I mean, the scrap time will go a mile here for the Stallions. Abe on the back end should be able to clean up the final one and will. Might see a few more Pioneers players sniff a push out here at the back end of time, and then Standy pops in, he'll find 2, and that's just beautiful stuff there from the man Standy himself. Last series we saw on stream, Standy was really the reason they were able to take a commanding map 3 win, put themselves up 2-1 in this series. Now early on here, he's got himself out to a nice even 10-10 stretch on 3 in a row.
KC Pioneers, massive advantage here in this game. Stallions have looked a little bit flustered so far here in this game, but it all could turn around very, very quickly. Just a wave of gunfights and a bit of hardpoint control. The first of those 2 things has come through for Stallions. They're able to get the gunfights to get control of P1, but you can already see those arrows starting to approach. The Falcons are on their way, ready to take down Stallions inside the hardpoint. Phantoms will hold strong for a couple of kills. Abe follows up with another one of his own. And Stallions, despite the fact they have to fight a war on multiple fronts, are able to hold for the moment.
Yeah, I was surprised after they got bridge control up top. I was like, okay, the Stallions probably don't get the break here. Maybe they falter just a touch, but they stay strong. They hold their guard. Now with a 40-point deficit and continue to close in on the Pioneers, they've got themselves a good rotation over towards P2 at the moment. You've got 5 there, as well as Lurks, who's just on the bottom of the pool side. Johnny tries to fly out with the SMG in hand. Abe's just going to play back and forth, throw a few shoulders. It's a few players now spawning up for the Pioneers over towards the next hard point. They break it in just the lick of time, but RCDs needs to be careful as one slides in short. Lurks finds the second, has to look for one more, stays alive for the moment. Reinforcements are close, but he's getting pinched.
Have to hold on to this hard point. If you're Pioneers, you have to win these gunfights, and obviously, you know, do that thing that's so difficult of fighting this one from those back spawns. It is so easy to get bullied in here, and Stallions are already getting that setup going. Already keeping an eye on players coming off the spawn. Encourage on 3 in a row. How much more can that player get? And really, can KC Pioneers find anything whatsoever? Encourage is going to go down. There goes Phantoms as well. So Stallions a couple of players down here. This is a good look for Pioneers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving this. Starts out slow, sure, but the Stallions found a way to bounce back. Little early game jitters might have been going the way of the Pioneers, but I mean, Abe's starting to tee up, Encourage is there, and you've got long-range shots going to the wayside for Arcades. So shaky shots and 2 players on the rotation for the Stallions. You've also locked down P2. You've got the power positions on the opposite end for top Art. So if Phantoms just kind of stays back, stays alive, watches the middle map push from the side of Stallions, or excuse me, the Pioneers, you might be looking at a new hill to get ready to set up. Going to need to be a break, though, as the Pioneers are in early.
Pioneers are in for the moment here. Stallions, of course, again, have control of not just those back spawns, but also looking to try and now contest for this hard point. Lurks doing what he can to try and play his life, garner some information. Unfortunately, there's not really anybody around on the minimap to actually enact on that information, so tries to hit a route through the middle of the map and immediately gets shut down. And that's going to change priorities here for Stallions. You've now got split spawns coming through. The last 2 remaining players here, Alex, need to get these rotational battles.
Don't want to be too jumpy. But as you have Phantoms trying to bring up the rear, Lurks in the middle of the map is going to be able to find 2. You need to find player 3 and Dylan Rex. It's the last one. Very important kill to get, and Encourage will walk away with it. So you have the RC car to work with. Long-range shots onto Arcades were gorgeous from Encourage there as well. And now you look at everybody from the Pioneers. You look at the mini-map, you get the lay of the land. You've got 3 players up top in the blue trying to push their way forward. P4 locked down. Need to be once again wary of Dylan Rex as he's trying to cross all the way through. Gets spotted out with 31 HP. Should fall in just a moment, and he will. So Abe will walk into the hard point. Stallions will start to get more time for themselves. And as they accrue that, the push up the map from Standy is stagnated. They're at the 50 line at the moment.
Yeah, and you're already starting to see Lurks living up to his name, lurking around the middle of the map. Will get shut down here. So that advanced guard, that extra layer of comforts the Stallions has now fallen by the wayside. And KC Pioneers now on their way, knocking at the door. But those backstorms are sticky as ever. Stallions will get a renewal of players over and over again. And one of those players holds strong, at least initially. Lurks for a couple of kills here. KC Pioneers still, though, are not giving up. They continue to hit this hill over and over again.
And Lurks just slides out for a challenge every time with the SMG. It's just catching the Pioneers off guard. They're not expecting the overt aggression outside of the hard point. Encourage inside of the hard point. Sure, you fall, but you still have Abe here on 98 HP. Has 2 players at the front door. A break trying to push in, but the Stallions will find their first lead in the game. Johnny in the back end, but really for how much? The next hill's already popped. You got about 5 seconds of hill time to play for here. You're really just trying to spawn the Stallions out across the map, but it's the split spawn that's going to come in. An artificial pinch has been created and Encourage the young star that everybody's been talking about at 28, and it looks like the host is going to end the game.
I've got a feeling that someone might have just lagged out the game, mate. I'll be honest. I got just a sneaking suspicion that was not supposed to go like that. So that's not good news, Alex, because that means that we're now going to be involved in a situation where we either see a full restart or arguing for about 10 to 15 minutes over whether or not a full restart should exist. Hopefully we just hop straight to the first bit. Either way, we can talk about what we saw there, at least for the what 8 minutes or so that we were in that hard point, right? Because it did start out very, very strong for the KC Pioneers. They held out with a lead earlier on, but Stallions, I mean, they almost brought it back.
Yeah, and realistically speaking, I mean, Encourage from the beginning of the game and up until where we just saw the game end, he was having himself a map already. I mean, he was kind of like the backbone of support. And again, Vault's one of those maps, especially when you talk about P2, P3, and even P4, your ARs need to be the ones aggressing those gunfights. They have to hold those lanes down. You've got those long angles that you're responsible for to allow the SMGs to get into those positions. And if you can complement that with great SMG play, that's where you're going to start to see the ball start rolling. I think the Arcades at the beginning of the game, big reason why they got out, he was complimenting Dylan Rex, and Dylan Rex vice versa complimenting him. Lurk started to tee up towards the back end of those last 3 rotations. That's where you started to see the ball get back into the rolling position for for the Stallions. I mean, it's simple to say that it can only be 2 people on the map. Obviously, it's a 4-man game, but I mean, you get 2 people playing in tandem, it can change momentum very quickly, especially in a game like Black Ops 6, where you're hitting the hills constantly.
Yeah, and this is the part for me, right? I mean, this is something that, referencing the European broadcast we were looking at with Team Notorious and this very map mode combination earlier on today. Actually, it might have been Vault Control, but either way, it was in the respawn. And, we talk about kind of the SMG prowess of players like Afro and Eric Boom, and we saw how they were able to turn things around for Team Notorious in that series versus Katana Gaming. Here in North America, I think we're actually seeing that right here, right now with Stallions. And I've got to give a shout out to Lurks, because while he might have had a relatively slow start to the game, I think towards the end, as you said, when he was getting the ball rolling, when you were really starting to feel yourself, it's that kind of exemplification of this is that young gun player that, we need him to turn up. And that's exactly what he did towards the end of that game. So if everybody on the roster can do that, again, live up to that promise of we're setting Stallions up as a young gun team, maybe they can come out and take down KC Pioneers, knock them down to the lower bracket. But right now, we've got to see some kind of reset here. I'm going to figure out what the heck's going on with this hard point.
Well, sounds good. Well, while Brody figures that out, we're going to send things to a quick break. When we come back, we'll give you the lay of the land, and we'll make sure that if anything happens from map 1, we let you know about it here first. When we come back, map 1, Vault Hardpoint between the Pioneers and the Stallions. Don't go too far. Community coverage of the Challengers broadcast for the Black Ops 6 Community Cup, or Challengers Cup #1 continues at a break. Something like that. We'll see.
Welcome, everybody, here to the Call of Duty Challengers Cup, the first of the 2025 season of this, of course, North America. We've changed up casters a little bit. I'm still Infinity, but we do not have McCall Mill anymore. Instead, we've brought back our good old friend, Cash. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm excited to get into the series. It went map one towards KC Pioneers to kick things off as we were unfortunately missed that one. And it looks like gameplay woes continue. But yeah, no, I'm doing well. Again, excited to be on the desk with you. It's been a while, obviously, the counterpart to Alex. So, still kind of the same thing going on. But yeah, I'm excited to get on the desk with you here and get into the series whenever that may be.
Yeah, I knew we'd cursed it. I knew we were ready. We were like, yeah, we're gonna get into game two, and as always, it's not true. It was a lie. We'll get into game two very, very soon, but that does give us a chance to show you guys the map. So it's worth saying that you guys will notice that while we were going back on Vault there, we were not going to Vault Hardpoint. The reason for that is after the reset, we did see a replay that was played off broadcast, and that replay, Cash, went to KC Pioneers coming out on top.
It was 250 to 223 as well. So it was really a back and forth game between these two squads. But at the end of things, yeah, KC Pioneers able to pull it out. Standy with a 35 and 30 performance and just really some standout from, again, the entire squad of what we've seen, even beckoning back to the last series we saw with KC. Just such a strong team, and they play so well off of one another from what we saw. And again, just a couple of moments there for FC Black where they just kind of fall short, right? A game that close comes down to just those micro decisions. And again, KC Pioneers find a way to pull that one out.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and that is a big map for KC Pioneers. Again, going back to the game that we saw before the reset, right? Stallions had started to garner some steam there. So, maybe if we saw the end of that first map pre-reset, we might have seen a situation which Stallions are able to take away, but they don't. Instead, it is KC Pioneers coming out on top of map number one, and that sets us up for quite an interesting storyline moving forward, doesn't it? Because we are going to be constantly referring back to this kind of this matchup as kind of the old guard versus the new, in a certain sense, right? That this new Stallions roster is definitely kind of a new blood, as it were. Can they kind of bounce back from that map number one loss here going into towards this next Vault map?
Yeah, and especially looking at who's kind of leading the charge for that new FC Black team and Phantoms, and even seeing some of the tweets people took to Twitter for, or X, pardon me. But again, seeing what
Still
some people
Twitter,
are
mate, it's
posting
fine.
is yeah, exactly. It's Twitter to everyone. So seeing that Phantoms, really coming to form and kind of leading the way for these guys, and even looking at the off-screen broadcast that we were able to see for map one, Abe stepping up and really having a big game there as well. So kind of leading the charge, like you said, for this new face of young challengers players kind of getting into the scene. And on the opposite side, right, we talk Phantoms, we talk Dylan Rex, how often they've teamed and the times that they have with one another being relatives and going against one another, knowing each other's play styles. It definitely makes for an interesting match to watch between these two. But yeah, continue to look to Phantoms to kind of lead the charge, get this team on track when they start to falter, and look to make this a good series.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see whether or not Stallions can tie things up here as we get into the map number two. Vault Search and Destroy, and you'd be forgiven for thinking there's only one bomb site on this map. KC Pioneer is going to get the bomb down on that site almost immediately here towards A. Are they going to lose control? That's the question for me. Standy, order removed from site. There goes RCTs as well. Retake looking pretty good for Stallions here. Rex, the last one left alive, and he's gone for a wraparound through pool.
No one's sure where he's at. So you're going to be players sitting bomb, but you have a couple players wrapping back as well. So the gunfight's going to come up. That'll be info to the teammates to wrap quickly. Dylan Rex wondering where they're going to be coming from. Able to take the second as well. One last gunfight left. Has to swap to the pistol. Aim is going to get it done. And the defuse comes in. And you think for a moment, again, the player like that's still alive. There's always a chance, but round comes in for the Stallions.
Mate, that was squeaky bomb time there. I thought for a second they were on the hunt for Rex for the longest time. They had not a Scooby where Rex had gone. And he almost outplays them totally. He almost gets this final kill as well, but is going to be denied there. So big plays coming through from Rex, but it is not enough to salvage the round. Massive retake for Stallions there. On the defense, it has to be said. I mean, I think early doors, the general impression, Cash, about Vault S&D is this is a very offensively sided map.
Very much so, and again, that A site, like you had said, you would think there is just the one site there, B maybe being used more so in a coordinated push or in a 1v odd opportunity where you kind of have to flip the map. So again, being so offensively favored, a good round, like you had said, for the Stallions to take and get themselves out to a good advantage. They're going to open up with the first blood as well. Shot's going to rain in, gives info to the team. Now going to look to reposition here. Standy tries to make a play.
Yeah, you're happy with this now if you're Stallions, especially as now Arstes is taken out of the play. So a couple of players left up. Another one kill does come through. Both Johnny and Rex getting involved in the situation here. This is now manageable. Johnny, for a 1 versus 2, has already picked up 1 kill in the round and ideally didn't want to take those shots. And actually trying to make the best of a bad situation here. Those shots will instead be warning shots to those players to try and get them out of position. But Johnny really acting off very little information here, is having to check every single precipice of the map. And he's finding absolutely now in this situation. Time starting to slowly dwindle down as well. Phantom sniffs him out, and good effort there, I think, to try and turn what was a bad situation to a good one, but it just didn't happen.
And it's just so unfortunate because you think of all that he was able to clear out, you'd think you'd find someone or any kind of information, and yeah, just couldn't. Both players for the Stallions playing together and staying towards poolside, even with the warning shots coming in, just wasn't able to sniff out any more information. Of course, comes down to time and ends up getting picked there at the very end. So Stallions take a quick 2-0 start. Phantoms out to 4-1 here. Looking to try to keep the ball rolling for themselves, as now they'll get back to the defensive try. And Pioneers, as we saw round number 1, able to get the bomb down. We'll see if they look to kind of shift that post plant setup, maybe even shift this break off here as they look to work towards the A side early.
Can't have what happened last time around happen once again. You can't be reliant on a 1 versus 3 from Rex. That did not happen. And things going from bad to worse. Stallions not only making their way towards the site before KC Pioneers, but they win those opening bloods. You've got bomb, and the only way to even the odds here is to get that rock down. But does it have to be on site? Johnny wants a good look at a player towards the middle of the map. He will find it. So big kill to even the odds versus Lurks. Now a 2 versus 2.
Just trying to wait, get info off his teammate. Call's going to come in to stick the bomb. Is now in the 2 versus 2. We'll see what kind of hold they can make. Again, not in a man-down deficit. Dylan Rex not left in a 1v odd. As RC's and Johnny going to be the one live. And Johnny's just holding bomb here, trying to play for info, trying to see if he can find a cheeky timing if someone looks to quickly push into the site.
Now we know where RC's is. Shots out from Phantoms. The information has to be acted on by Encourage quickly here. You have to take down RC's, and RC's is just hightailing it towards the middle of the map. That's a good 2 versus 1 situation. And now it is yet another 2 versus 1. This time Johnny on the receiving end. Bomb should be planted for Paul here, so Johnny has to use that to his advantage and the lack of time on the board, but it doesn't matter. Encourage is watching over his brother in arms, and Stallions make the retake work. KC Pioneers are falling apart here on Vault Search and Destroy.
They really are. And for Johnny, it's just unfortunate. He had gone too long without checking the bomb. That you saw him hop down. You always hear the check it at 7 seconds, check it at 7 seconds, because it takes 7.5 to defuse. He'd gone too long. You saw him at 12 seconds thinking, I have to get eyes on this. In the event they hopped it, unfortunately, the timing didn't go his way as a result. And again, Stallions, like you said, rolling in this one up to 3-0. It's been confident. It's been decisive gameplay out of them as well. The Pioneers simply can't find their footing in this one. Offensively, they've gotten the bomb down, but the post-plant setups have not been there for them. Stallions making great reads around the map and making great plays as well.
Stallions are just outplaying KC Pioneers at every single turn at the moment. You cannot afford to lose 2 offensive rounds in the way that Pioneers have done thus far. I was going to say things might be going from bad to worse as Abe draws first blood in this round. There is an immediate trade, though, from RCTs. But are you going to expect this level of vigor from Stallions? I don't know even if it matters if you expect it or not, because you're frankly not winning the fights versus Stallions when they're playing like this. It's all up to Johnny. 1 versus 3, and that's not happening in a month for Sundays.
4 rounds won. And that's on the back of 4 first bloods. Every round they've walked away with 1. And even there, though RC's got the quick trade, you just find yourself off break in a man disadvantage that you've yet to be able to bounce back from. And we talk about how important first bloods are. This is again, perfect example of why it matters so much, because they find that first blood, they group up and they play together. Like you said, the aggression that they push forward with there to be able to catch players out, and even in their spawn, just not expecting the speed that Stallions are playing with, switching up the tempo, switching up the angles of attack. They have kept KC Pioneers guessing on all fronts. Now they're going to have to make a move quickly if they want to start this one.
That's just something that needs to change, to be honest with you, and that's a good start from Pioneers. First blood drawn by Rex. Following up with a second one, it's a possibility, but that rock's going down regardless, so Rex's job is done. He's provided his role of a guardian angel perfectly, and now they might be able to follow up with another second kill. And Courage almost evens the odds there, but now things even more so in favor of Pioneers. You need some kind of heroic play, and Phantoms isn't getting anything. Very well played from Pioneers. They finally find a footing in this game.
Like you said, it started with Dylan Rex doing what he needs to do as the AR coverage, putting his teammates to get into the site. Down. Job was done. Essentially 1v1s across the rest of the map, and for the first time in the search, they were able to win those, catching good timings as well. Standy, you saw starting that round 1 and 4. Now looking to get another kill on the board. It's just been slow for him, whereas everyone for Stallions has a positive KD. The kills just have not been there. Maybe this round starts to get things going for him. Still a long way to go, but maybe kind of the confidence boost or winning the sale they needed to string off another defensive round.
All right, Stallions 4-1 up now. Pioneers finally into this game, but they need to stop Stallions on the offense. They need to steal a couple of offensive rounds away, just as Stallions have done for them. Trades back and forth, the pinstripe kill feed that will result in a 2 versus 2. And for Stallions here, an opportunity with the bomb to get this thing down. Rex reaching far into the pool might be able to stop it. Encourage is certainly trying it, and as this rock goes down, that's going to make things more difficult here on the retake.
Oh, and Dylan Rex knew someone was playing back P2, so just couldn't have a look at bomb as it was crossing. But now Stinny gets the call. You know, this player's probably playing in or around site, but Encourage, he's gotten out. He's looking to try to hit double wrap back towards this site, see if you can catch both of these players. Now you have the tricky timing of, are they on the bomb? Are they defusing? He has no clue of this information, trying to clear out what he can before hopping back into site.
They're not hopping on. They're not hopping on. Encourage, has he found the timing? No, that's so unfortunate. Rex will close out the round. But Encourage played his life to perfection there. Played his presence to perfection. And Pioneers, I mean, they were so uncertain of themselves in this situation. It was only by virtue of the fact that Encourage had no choice but to check that round actually went the way of the Pioneers. And I said it, we need to see them steal a couple of these rounds away. That is one there that's going to be crucial to getting them back into the S&D.
And just to keep driving this point, as it's ringing true in the search and destroy, they've walked away with first bloods the last 2 rounds. And again, things have got mixy. It's been down to 2v2s. You know, trades have come in. But again, just that boost of knowing, okay, we've got this first blood off the board. That means that your players are in the right positions, winning their gunfights to help you kind of take spots around the map. And now, quickly and decisively pushing into this A site. KC Pioneers looking for the call to get this bomb down here. As no info's been given them yet, RC's going to find info in the back, going to ring out some shots they're not going to connect. They have an idea of where these players are, and now Lurk trying to isolate Dylan Rex in the back.
Yeah, this could be a big kill for Lurks if he can find it here. That power position for Rex is a constant nuisance that KC Pioneers are having to deal with, especially with the bomb now down. You really need to find him. Lurks is currently wasting a lot of time on that hunt, but there we go. Abe's going to find that kill. Now down to a 2 versus 2. And there's still quite a lot of places you've got to check. If there are Stallions towards the right corner is one of them. Standy sees more of Abe before Abe sees any of him. Now down to a 1 versus 1, but Lurks frankly does not have the time for this retake. Doesn't matter if this kill comes through because it isn't going to be a round victory. And now Pioneers start to put some rounds on the bounce.
3 rounds straight, we kind of talk about that as really where teams start to get that momentum change. If you can take either side of the bomb and maybe get back to, again, for KC here, the offensive side of things, get that round of stake. You're like, okay, we're rolling. What we're calling and what we're wanting to do on the map is being executed well. 3 rounds straight. Stallions need to look to make a stop, though they have the 1 round advantage. You can tell that, again, starting with everyone having negative KDs, Johnny's out to 8 and 6, Dylan Rex now up to 6 and 5. They're starting to get things going. Arcity's 1 kill off of 500. So here, they just need to keep working with what they're doing. Johnny getting loose, getting quick on this bomb site, able to open up the first blood.
That's absolutely huge. Again, they know how important getting control of the bomb site is, so to find those opening bloods, even with the TK, that's crucial. Now numbers in your favor. 3 versus 2. It forces Stallions to rethink this entire round, and now losing Phantoms, I don't think they've got much room of thinking whatsoever. Good check from Encourage, though, in towards that corner to find 1. Makes this somewhat more palatable, but you're going to get cut down on the exit almost immediately. And I said it, Cash, I mean, the start of that round, they knew how important just rushing straight into that bomb site is and making sure you win those first bloods.
Well, they're in control of the tempo at this point, too. They know what they want to do, and you maybe have FC Black in a situation where they're, overthinking things and starting to think, okay, maybe we slow play and try to work something where you've got the tempo, you've got the confidence. Yeah, Johnny's going to push into sight, look to play the trades, and now you have control of that part of the map. So, again, a great call and point to you saying that, yeah, let's just go play fast and get them in towards the site. They do just that. And now they've tied this thing up as quick as it was 0-4. We're now looking at 4-4 here between 2 teams.
Man, what a turnaround this has been for KC Pioneers. A complete reaction to what Stallions have brought to the table and then some. And it's aggression from players like Stanley that have made all the difference here. Might not be the best player in terms of raw KD at the moment, but the presence he has brought to the lineup, the TKs that he's been doing. team shots, I should say, he's been doing. TKs would not be great. Team shots that he's been doing has been impressive. And now with the numbers, KC Pioneers getting this bomb down. Stallions, no choice but once again to split up.
2-2. Clean shots out of Encourage to at least back RCD's down for the moment. Standy's on the flank, and he might get the read on that as well. We'll see what ends up happening to that gunfight. RCD's able to take one. Abe now, last one alive, trying to take this gunfight. Wen doesn't see him on the balcony and doesn't win the gunfight. Thought he had jumped down and cleared, and again, just that half second of timing he loses is enough to get the kill and the cleanup. Handle their 1v1s on either side of the map. And now find themselves on map point. 5 straight rounds.
Man, just what a turnaround this has been. Not much else to say is that, this has been so hopeful at the start of this search and destroy for Stallions, and that hope isn't over just yet. There's still all the way for Stallions to make their way back in towards this game, but KC Pioneers hit. Just 1 round away from 6 rounds on the bounce. How impressive would that be? RCT is a big reason for that. 5 in a row over those last few rounds. And aggression from Stallions is the response. What a start from Alerx to open things up with those first couple of kills.
And that's huge to also get out with his life and not get traded. 4 vs 2, RCXD comes in. Not effective in any way. But that completely changes the round call for KC Pioneers here defensively. They just don't know where they want to go, what they want to do. Trying to see if the offense will make a move, give them a freebie. That's not going to be the case. RCD's checking the back lines, and again, no one is home for the time being, even though everyone is grouped up back there.
KC Pioneers looking for a way to even the odds here at 2 versus 3. Stallions now just going to play this one slow and steady. There's no point getting over aggressive here. All the cards are in your hand. You've got the bomb as well. So a plethora of choices as to how this play this one, and RCT gets shut down. That's disastrous here for KC Pioneers. Now just down to Johnny. Phenomenal S&D player so far. 10 and 8 in this game. He can stop the bomb from going down. Situation on its head, it's everything, but he has so many places to check here, Cash.
He's going to start with Outer Palms. Maybe.
Nope.
Maybe start with Outer Palms, but not going to be the case, and Lurks none the wiser to it, so he's going to try to get in, but again, just knows things are pretty much chalked. If bomb goes down that late in the round, you figure, especially in a 1 versus 3, that a couple people will be buddied up in and around the site. That's exactly what was happening. So after ripping off 5 straight rounds, Stallions look to answer back with 1 and send us to a round 11 that I don't think you or I saw happening based on how this thing started.
Nope, I most certainly did not. I mean, at 4-0 start for Stallions, I don't think I ever expected a comeback of this proportion. And yet still, here we are. Pioneers, though, finally, the bleeding has stopped for Stallions. 5 rounds on the bounce, but perhaps no more. We'll see what kind of aggression Stallions look like on the defense. Of course, it is KC Pioneers, the one with the advantage right now. Standy going down for the count. And, the TK with the RC card doesn't actually stop the bomb from going down. So Pioneers have that to their advantage.
And that almost can count like you would think an extra player on the board just because the lineup is in for Dylan Rex. It doesn't matter that the bomb goes down. Dylan Rex takes care of business. The 1v1 gets out with his life, and he is just like a 2 versus 1, trying to regroup with his teammate. And I've been asking how Dylan Rex does what he does all day. And again, it is just a masterclass here to all but secure the round 11.
That is absolutely insane. It was RCTs, I think, who actually managed to get the double, but it does not matter who does it. It's the fact that they do. It's the fact that Stallions run right into the player like lambs to the slaughter. That is insane in that final round. I have the question, like, what was the play call, right, to double up? Did they know that the RCTs was there and they were just looking to try and, overwhelm him to win the 2-on-1? You had the numbers in the situation. Maybe that was kind of the play call there. I'd have to watch it back to see what the thought process was, but still, that is a crazy play to come out on RCTs, and I think you could kind of take that one on a platter.
You definitely can. It was just once he gets those kills and Dylan Rex finds the couple. Yeah, that's just tough. The team kill comes in. You look to back off of the site because you don't have the numbers you thought you did, and bomb still goes down. So I think, they just wanted to retreat, maybe regroup, figure out how they wanted to attack it. And again, just the timing of having Dylan Rex lying in wait. You both turn the corner, and he's not going to miss that very often, and didn't there. So that secured the round for them. After that, with bomb down, enough time dwindled. You don't quite have the time to work and make any kind of plays around the map. So that secured it. You got a bounce back map. They were able to again push it to round 11 on the side of Stallions, but the momentum too much, the plays a bit too smart and timings that KC was able to take it and now find themselves up 2-0.
Yeah, well, see that one on the timeline in just a moment here. You guys will get a chance to look at the timeline, though. We're going to go to a very brief break. On the other side, perhaps the final map in this best of 5. Who could have seen that coming? We'll see if it after the break.